Alrighty. Welcome to the latest podcast. This one is tailored pretty much to real estate agents, and obviously we are super zoomed in on me, which is great. Love that. Absolutely best part of this podcast. So if you are listening to this, fantastic. If you're watching this live, amazing. Love you all. So why are we doing a real estate agent podcast? So I actually just put out a video in case you guys actually care, which you probably don't, which is essentially the best way that we're going to be able to put out content for real estate agents. I've already explained the reason that we're doing these podcasts is because there's really no one that's actually doing this in New York City. I am not a top agent yet. However, I have the trajectory, which is actually the title of this, the trajectory of a real estate agent that is essentially going to be in 5 or 10 years looking back at this time and saying, I can't believe I did this. This was crazy. This was in a smaller office. There was only one other agent that I was making calls with instead of 10 or 5 or 6. And my commission was this and my dollar amount was that. So this is what I've noticed, and this is something as a real estate agent, you, especially going into 2020, okay? It is not uncommon for people to be thinking about this, which is, listen, there's less deals. There's lower commission. There's lower pricing. So if you're a big company out there, and I am so glad I am not at a big company or I own a big company, because right now, most of them are not running it correctly. I'm not saying I would run it 100% the best way. However, the way that it's being run is they're not utilizing their resources. The resources as in the money that they have. The money that they have is coming in and they're spending it on being the number one person brought up at a Yankees game, or the person that is, front seats at the Knicks game. And you're thinking about that and you're saying, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars. I have no idea, but it's tens of thousands of dollars to sponsor yourself. It's more of a branding, understandable. But you know what's actually even better? Is that you understand that in this market or in this realm of social media, this realm of the internet, is that money best spent on something you understand the ROI, which is views or engagement or comments or likes, or actually improving your system so it's better, or bringing in better talent from other companies, or ensuring that video is top of mind, or sponsoring it online instead of a branding thing that no one's going to be looking at a professional sports game, or all of these things that you just, if I just saw the amount of waste, and this is the thing, is that in real estate, if you really want to be honest, is that there is a massive ego in real estate, okay? The ego in real estate essentially revolves around, I have to be the best, I have to be the top person. There is no, okay, what's working, what's not working, which is essentially what we're talking about today, which is the trajectory of real estate agents, their trajectory of the company they're working at, and most importantly, their finances. The reason I'm bringing this up, and the reason I'm just going to be harping on this every single week, is the most important thing is, what is the direction in which you're heading? It's great you had 10 closings today. It's great that you were the number one agent or the number one company in 2010, 2015, or even 2018, 2019, or maybe even 2020. But what is the trajectory? And someone very intelligent, a billionaire actually, I saw this on a video by this guy, Ty Lopez. Some people know who that person is. But this billionaire said something very interesting. He said that in a time when everyone is essentially going to be eliminated, in other words, what we do is we overbuild, we overconsume, we overspend as Americans or as humans, because we're emotional creatures, is we overdo something and then the market has to read correct. In other words, eliminate all of the excess and then it rebounds. And that's the thing. That's essentially what we're going to go through in 2020, okay? And we have been going through that. So the companies and the agents' overhead is exactly the same. Their amount of money they're paying for their taxes, the amount of money that they're paying for their business, their mailers, their business cards, themselves, for them to eat and go to the gym, their kids, their spouses, their colleges, whatever the amount of money they're all already spending, that's already just stable. That is a stable number. Okay. The amount of income coming in, the amount of income has gone down. So that buffer, which we call, I would say, revenue, and then net income, net income is the best way to look at it, is the amount of net income is lower. So the revenue has gone down, the spending is the same, and then there is that buffer, which is used for taxes and savings and 401ks and things like that, is down. And guess what? That's for the people that are already successful. Those are the people that are already doing well. What about the people that are not? What about the majority of the real estate agents that are just literally clawing and scratching their way through each deal, which was me in 2009. 2009 and right now is very similar for me, okay? And in other words, not me as in income or anything else. What I mean is that the actual marketplace, which is each deal in 2009 for me when I first started, was vitally important. I needed each deal to pay the rent, to live, to survive, to stay out of debt, to pay the IRS. I needed all of that money to pay for my health insurance. All these things that you just take for granted in good times because money is a-flowing. Abundance is real, okay? And this is the thing is that, there's a lot of agents that say, dude, why are you mentioning the market? Why are you talking about the market like this? I'm not talking about the market like this because I want to. I'm talking about the market because that is reality, okay? And that's the thing is that if you are not actually consuming the reality of the situation, you're living in a fantasy world. Okay, you're telling your owners that we'll find a buyer, yet your home is overpriced and you will never get an offer. Okay, you're living in a fantasy world, which is that the amount of business that has flowed through you from 2012 to 2016 is exactly the same amount of business that's going to that has flowed through your bank account this year and next year. Next year is an election year. Okay. And if you don't know because you weren't in real estate or you were in real estate, but I went through 2012, I went through 2016. It doesn't matter who's running. It has nothing to do with politics. It's just that people want to see what's going on or see how things end up. And ironically enough, nothing really happens. People will buy and people will sell. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that people are more cautious, people are more hesitant, but I'm going to tell you right now is there's going to be a lot of people that are crunched out of the marketplace because they do not go back to the fundamentals. They do not go back to the fundamentals. And what I was actually going to say before with the billionaire, Tillman something, I forgot his name. He just wrote a book called Shut Up and Listen. Interesting topic. And I was going to order it, but I didn't on Amazon. So that's what he talked about. He said most people think that Amazon is 7 or 8 years old. And they understand it's an older company. But the reason they think it's only 7 or 8 years is because how much of an explosion onto the marketplace this company has had. Tesla, same idea. This company has just completely ate up market share left and right. Car companies are going to get destroyed in the coming years because they are not adjusting properly. And that's the way that I see the real estate industry. And the reason I say trajectory is because if you look at yourself right now and you look at the amount of business that you have right now, that is a lagging indicator. A lagging indicator essentially means that what you've done in the past is giving you the results that you're experiencing right now. A leading indicator is what is the business that's coming into your pipeline? How many clients want to actually work with you in the coming weeks and months? That is a leading indicator. Another leading indicator is how many calls are you making? How many business follow-up emails are you sending out? What's your mailers and ratio of closing to, say, appointments to closing to listings to sales? Where is that? I'm going to guess it's a little bit off, okay? Because the market is a little bit off. The trajectory is the most important thing you have to look at. So the best way to actually look at your trajectory is two ways. Number one, you have to understand that it goes down to two things. I wrote it on my 2020 theme, which is over to the right. My 2020 theme, or our 2020 theme here at BPI, another agent, is that it's consistency and it's the fundamentals. Okay, there's going to be a lot of shiny red balls that we're going to want to chase going down the sidewalk, but ironically enough, none of those balls will actually lead into anything because all of those shiny red balls going down the sidewalk are sponsor your listing on Street Easy. It's going to be, I'm not saying these are bad things. What I'm saying is go back to the fundamentals, go back to the consistency that is asking for referrals, that is asking for people to do business with you, that is making calls, that is prospecting, that is sending out emails. That is literally belly to belly, conversation to conversation, ways of actually getting business. That is the only way to actually understand that your leading indicator, which is the trajectory in which you're going to be entering the marketplace in 2020, is the most important thing that you're looking at. It is not the past. It is not that you won a championship last year, but what are you doing this year? It's a new season. It is a totally new day. And that's the way that it has to be looked at. It has to be looked at is every single day. This is someone much smarter than me has thought of this. Greg Harrelson down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's a real estate agent, and he says he wakes up every single day unemployed. Unemployed. It doesn't matter what he did yesterday. He could have made 15 closings. He could have made 20 sales and 10 contacts and 9 listings. But you're waking up, it's a new day. So that's consistency, but that's also trajectory, because if you stop doing what you did yesterday, which was the fundamentals of reaching out and prospecting for business, then your trajectory has plateaued. It hasn't gone down yet, but if you start multiplying those days and you stop doing what you've been doing that has gotten you what the results that has gotten you in the past, then your trajectory is slid. There's a lot of agents that I'm working with. There's a lot of agents that I know. And this is it. This is exactly what I drew this morning. It's right behind me. Right behind me is essentially the 5-year plan, which is you could be that line, this line right here. You could be below exactly what you don't want to be, which is below another real estate agent that you're comparing yourself to. This is 2019. And you're going up at a higher rate, a higher trajectory, because you notice that every single day you wake up and you have to do two things. You have to prospect for business and you have to service your current business. But if you do it the other way around, where you service your business and then you try and prospect, that's not good. It's really hard to prospect in the afternoon when you have no energy. When your creativity of closing a deal or your audacity or your boldness or your aggressiveness has gone out the window because we don't have as much energy in the afternoon. It's common sense. There is no way you can have the amount of energy that you wake up with in the morning at 9 a.m. to have it at 2:39 p.m. You still need energy at 2:39 p.m., but all of your energy in the morning is your number one thing. And with trajectory, I'm going to lead this into an even better topic, is that there was a lot of people I looked up to when I first started. A lot. Pretty much everyone, actually. And I just remember thinking, how is this person doing so well? Like, what is this person doing right now? What is their sauce? What's their secret? And what I've noticed is that the number one thing that you have to actually understand is if you push a boat in the Atlantic Ocean with no captain out to sea, that boat, guess what? No destination. That's goals. Okay? There's no trajectory of where it's going to go. There's no coordinates. There's no navigation. It sounds easy. It's simple. But when we actually try to apply it to our life, we're thinking, oh, no, I'm going to get what I want, even though I don't know what I want, and I haven't written down what I want, and I haven't thought about what I want. Even the smallest vague thing of, I want to work on prospecting. I want to work on follow-up. I want to work on templated emails so I don't have to send the exact same email. I want to work on checklists. Something small. Have something. The smallest, just a vague idea. Doesn't have to be specific. Make 50 dials every single day that you're in the office, 220 times, which is mine. That's a very specific goal. That's what happens after 11 years of just waddling around with no goals and no trajectory and not understanding that the entrepreneur roller coaster, as Darren Hardy talks about it, where you go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, can actually be controlled where you continuously go up. I had no idea. I read the book. It was a great book. I read his other book, Compound Effect. Great book, unbelievable book. Thought it didn't apply to me. Thought I was special. Thought I could get away with it. Well, after 11 years, coming up on 11 years, which is crazy. Coming up on 11 years, I understand there is only one way, is you sit down for 1 hour, not January 1st, and it is not December 25th. It is not when you're hungover. It is not after Thanksgiving. It is right now. Before the holidays, before it gets colder, before you get bored, before no business comes in and you start worrying about finances more, what am I going to do, or 2020, or am I going to still be in the industry? All these questions, all these bad nagging questions that are going to be going through your mind. But you sit down for 1 hour or even 20 minutes, just give it 20 minutes, and you literally write down, what is the one area I really need to work on? And it's not social media. Just to give you a hint, it is not social media. Social media in 2020 is not going to close the deals that you need. Social media in an amazing market, when you already have the fundamentals and the consistency down, will potentially bring you a little bit more business. I'm not saying social media is bad. Again, what I'm saying is that is not the number one thing. That is not the thing that you wake up at 8 o'clock in the office and start banging out. You don't just say, okay, what is the next video I'm going to make? What is the next Instagram post I'm going to do? What is the next story? It entertains people. That's what Instagram is. Instagram essentially is an escape from real life. It's what it is. People want to be in an alternative area, environment, atmosphere. They just want to escape reality, which is they're sitting at a job that they may not like, and they just want to leave that area and go into a totally different realm, a new reality. That's what alcohol is. That's what anything that you escape essentially is. You're escaping the real world. I'm not saying it's bad. If you do it a lot, it is bad. But to do it once in a while, once a day, once a week, maybe twice a day, not bad. 3 times a day, you're really escaping a lot. You're not being as productive. You're not focusing on what you really need to be focusing on. And that's what I noticed earlier this year. I was doing a lot of things that were not good. And I just continuously asked myself, is this good for my business? And the conclusion, after sitting down and writing out for an hour, this is not really helping my business at all. Okay? And I implore you to do the exact same thing, because you might come to the same conclusion, which is, this is actually not bringing in any business. This is actually losing me business and losing me time and wasting the amount of money that I am by you are still going to need food tomorrow. You're still going to have to spend money on food tomorrow. You're still living in an apartment you have to pay for. But if you're doing nothing to pay for that apartment, if you are pushing the ball slowly forward, it is better than letting it sit there. Or worse, bringing the ball back, because we're all moving forward. Trajectory is the most important thing. So I hope this inspires you to do one of two things, okay? Consistency and fundamentals is my 2020 theme. Consistency is every single day that you have a day that you're at the office, you're not on vacation, you are not snowed in, or there's no birthday or wedding or anything else. You know exactly what you're going to be doing for that day, okay? It's not easy to do the hard things. But as Les Brown has said many times, is you do the hard things, your life is going to be easy. You do the easy things, your life is going to be hard. Simple as that. It's a tough pill to swallow, and it's not easy, because to get a consistent routine with the fundamentals, which is reaching out for business in a bad market, when everyone is talking about what I just led this podcast off, which is lower commissions, lower transactions, lower pricing. That means lower income. It's an easy way to focus on that. But the problem is that's not going to push the ball forward in 2020. And then you're going to start saying, oh, shit, maybe I cannot actually afford to be a real estate agent, independent contractor for another year. And there's going to be an absolute bloodbath next year, which is a lot of these big companies will start looking at their finances. They'll start looking at their overhead. They'll start looking at their offices, and they'll start closing them because they have been pushing it off for long enough. And I know because I know how much it is for a real estate agent to be a real estate agent. And unfortunately, that almost took my company down. So if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. I'm going to be going live every single week. And of course, if you guys want to listen to, we also have a new channel out there. It is going to be called, or it's not going to be called, obviously the sun is coming in, reflecting off a building, but it's called BPI Lifestyle, and that's the meetings that we are going to be uploading every single day. This was Trajectory, which we uploaded today. Tomorrow it's going to be the 3 seasons, and I will expand on that next week. The 3 seasons which are going to be upcoming, and it's, you could tell from my body language, it's not going to be ideal, but if you do the right things consistently every single day, just for 2 hours, not the whole day, just for 2 hours, you'll be fine. Prospect and follow up, and that's it. Prospect and follow up, and that's it. 1 hour prospecting, 1 hour follow up, and you're good. I want you to do more, but that's the minimum. 2 hours, 1 hour prospecting, 1 hour follow up. All right. So have an amazing day. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. And as always, we will be back